Welcome back, friends. In today's Eclipse session, we are going to learn about graph DFS, which is depth first search, and how to form a graph using DFS, and how to solve problems using DFS of graph. So let's go to the problem. So the problem says that check if path exists between source and destination nodes in graph, right? So a graph is given to us in the form of edges, right? So the array of edges is given to us, and we have to find out if there is a path between source to destination. For example, source is 0 here, as you can see, and destination is 5. Let's say 5 is given. Then we have to find out using DFS if there is any path exist between 0 to 5, right? So that is the problem. Um, so as you can see, so first thing, when we are going to implement the solution in Java, we are going to actually create a graph using the given edges, right, in the Java, and then we will use a DFS starting from the source node and going all the way uh, in depth first search fashion, right? So for example, if we start with 0, then let's say we will go to 1, right? 1 is the adjacent node. Then we will go to 2. 2 is adjacent of 1. So after this 2, you cannot go anywhere, so we will backtrack to 1, and from 1 we will go to 3, then 3 we will go to 4, then 4 we will go to 5, right? And each time we reach a node, we will keep checking if it is a destination node. Now when we reach 5, we understood that this is a destination node, so we will just add the path into our list of paths, and then we will backtrack from 5 to 4 and 4 to 3. Now from 3 to 7 we have a path to go, so we will explore this path. So we will go from 3 to 7 and 7 to 5. Again we can reach the destination node 5, so we will add this path into our list of paths, and then we will backtrack from 5 to 7, then 7 to 3, then 3 to 1, and from 1 to 0 again, right? So we backtrack all the way to 0. Now we have another part to explore with 6, right? So we will go from 0 to 6, and from 6 to 7. Now we can again explore a 7 to 5, right? Again we reached 5, which is our destination node. We will keep entry into our paths of this path, and then we will again backtrack from 5 to 7, 7 to 6, and 6 to 0. So that is how we are going to implement our DFS. So DFS will, as you have seen now, DFS will go all the way as much as it can, and then it backtracks once it reaches the end, right? So that is how DFS works. So we will be creating an adjacency list first from the given edges. For example, as you can see in this graph, the adjacency list for 0 is, what are the adjacent node for 0? It is 1 and 6, right? So we will just prepare 1 and 6 for 0. So basically it is like it is integer, and then this is list of integer, right? Because there can be multiple adjacent nodes. So 1 will have 2 and 3. As you can see, 1 is here, and 2 and 3 are the adjacent nodes of 1. So it will be 1, 2 and 3. So similarly we will go all the way until C1 7, right? And for example, if 7 does not have for example, if 2 does not have any adjacent element, for example this is end element, we will just create an empty list in that case, right? There will be nothing in the list. So let me first show you how we are going to create the adjacency list, and after that we will see how the graph will be created and the DFS will be applied from the source node. So after this session you will understand the DFS on graph, as well as you will understand how to find out paths between source node and destination node, and we can use that information to answer the question if there is a path exists, right, between source and destination. So let's go and take a look at the implementation in Java. So let me just make this big so you can easily read it. So now, for example, we have been given this age information, right, into our problem itself. So this one is given to us, the ages. Let's say this ages is given, right? So from 0 to 1, this one is given 0 to 1, right? Then 1 to 2, for example, 1 to 2, this in age is given. So one thing I wanted to mention here is this is a directed acyclic graph, right? DAG, because there is a direction between the edges, and it is, there is no cycle here in this graph, right? You cannot form a cycle, so it is called as directed acyclic graph, DAG, in computer science programming. So this is a directed graph, you can say. And then now we will be let's first go to the constructor of the example here. So the constructor is this one, right? So we will have number of vertices. This node is a vertex basically in the terminology of graph. For example, 0 is vertex, 1 is vertex, and this 0 to 1, this edge, this is called as edge, right? So this is edge. 1 to 2 is a edge, 1 is vertex, 2 is vertex, and there is a edge between 1 and 2. That's what they say basically, right? And this is a directed edge, which means that you can go from 1 to 2, but you cannot go from 2 to 1 basically, right? So it is directed. So first we have created a variable number of vertices, that is what will be given to us here. And then adjacency list we will create here, this one, right? And it is an array basically of linked list. As you can see, it is array. So basically if it is a 0th node, then it will be adjacency of 0, right? Will be a linked list. Adjacency of 1 will be a linked list, like that basically. And we will first initialize this linked list, right? So we will go through all the 0 to 8 nodes, and we will just initialize it empty linked list, right? And whenever we are adding a edge into our graph, then we will go from, like, we will use, let's say, 0 to 1, right? Then adjacency of 0, and we will add 1. So the list will be having 1. So for example, if you go adjacency, how it looks like adjacency of 0, it will be a list, right? It will be a list, and the list will contain 1 basically. For example, in this case, right, 0 will have 1 and 6, like, let's say, right? So the adjacency list will contain 1 comma 6. So that's how the adjacency list work, right? Just wanted to show you. So the add edges, we will first add all the edges, and we will form our adjacency list, right? That's what we are doing here. And after that, we will be given source node and destination node. In this case, 0 is given to us and 5 is given to us, right? So we are going to find out if there is a way exist from 0 to 5, right? So that's what given to us. So we have implemented a function called as check path exist, and we will just path our source and destination here, right? So we will be also using a visited matrix here. It is same as number of vertices. And then what we will create here is, we will create array list of paths here. Whenever we find any path, like this path will be a dynamic linked list, right? Array list basically. So for example, why we are using it, like when we are going from 0 to 6, we will keep adding this information into this paths list, right? Because like a 0, then 6, then 7, and then 5. So it will have all the element of path that you have used actually to reach to that node basically. So we will use that paths list here for that purpose. And output array list is a list of strings, right? So this is actually, we are going to capture whenever we are getting any source to destination path, we are going to capture that path here in the output, right? So that is what we are going to use it for. In the beginning, we are just adding our source node into our paths, right? Because anyway we are visiting source node here. And then we will call our path exist dfs function here, right? So dfs function will populate, if there is any path, then it will populate in our output, right? And that we will check at the end. If there is any path, then output size we will check it. If it is greater than 0, there is a path, we will return true, otherwise we will return false. So now we have to only check how the path exist works, right? This is our dfs function. So we have input source is there, destination is there, then current visiting node. So whatever node we are currently visiting, right, is there. Then visited matrix is there, visited array is there, right? The node that we have visited, we will just use that for that purpose. And then how much distance we have traveled from source, right? That is the distance here. And then the paths, as I explained already, the paths is a list of strings to capture the element of paths so far you have traveled. traveled basically, right? And output is to capture the output of paths. If we find any path from source to destination, we will use it to capture in output. So first boolean path is equal to false, and we will first, whenever we are visiting any node, we will just mark it as visited is equal to true, right? And we'll just output that we here system out, right, that we have visited that node. And after that we will find out what are the adjacent element for that node, right? As I said in the beginning, we have formed the adjacency list, right? So we will use that list to find out the adjacent nodes for that node, and then we will be iterating here, right, for through all the adjacent nodes here, right, in this while loop. So we will keep iterating. For example, first for 0 we will iterate first 1, right? And then for 1 we will again keep going, right? 1 will have 2 and 3, then we will explore 2, then for 3 we will have 4 and 7, like it will go all the way in deep, right? That is why it is depth first search. So that's what it is doing here. So it will get the adjacent node here n. We are just saying that DFS visiting node, right, that whatever node we are visiting, and we will check if it is a destination node, right? If that one is destination node, we will just add it into our paths here, paths, right, that we have our path that we have traveled so far. And then we will just say this is the distance how much we have traveled. We will just make path is equal to true, and we will add it into our output path, right? And we will just break basically from while loop here, right? We will break out of the while loop in that case, because we already found a path, right? If we did not find a path from source to destination, then we will add that path, add that node into our paths, and we will again recursively keep continue visiting all its adjacent nodes, right? Like basically, so as you can see, we will increment distance by 1 every time, right? And we will just pass the paths that we have visited so far basically, right? From, for example, then we will have 0 to 1, then 1 to 3, then 3 to 4, and 4 to 5, right? So that information we are using it into our paths list, right? And after, once it reaches the end, for example it reaches the end 2, right, then there is no way to go forward, then we will backtrack from 2 to 1. So we have to remove 2 from our list, right? So that's what we are doing here. So we are backtracking, so we are removing the lastly added element into our list, so we can explore other paths, right? So basically 2 we will remove, we will go to the list, so list will have 0 1. Now we will add 3 again, right, in the our path basically, and then 4, then 5, like that. So that is a backtracking basically, right? So that's what we are doing here. So it will go into the while loop, and it will keep doing and recursively calling our function, and whenever it finds out the destination, then it will just add it into our output path, right? And then at the end we will just return path which is true or false here, right? So in this case, so let me just uh, run this for, like, this example we can run for from 0 to 5 we are looking, right? So let's just run this for 0 to 5. So we have passed source as 0 and destination 5 here. So as you can see, I wanted to show you how the DFS works actually, right? So on this is our graph, and let me just take this, make this smaller. So yeah, now we can see it. So see, 0 start the DFS starts with 0, and then it visits 1. After that it visits 2, right? Here 2, right? 2, because it's a DFS, so it will go as deep as possible. Now 2 is done. Now it will backtrack from 2 to 1, and it will try to visit 3, right? So see, it visits 3 here, then it visits 4, and then it visits 5, right? Like this, 0 1, now 3 4 5. So it found a path, right? And distance is how much? 4, right? 0 to 1 means 1 2 3 and 4. So distance is 4, and the path we found is 0 to 1 to 3 to 4 to 5, right? So we printed the path, and we put this path into our output, that list, right? And now after this one, now it will backtrack to this 3 again, right? Because 5, so it will remove 5, it will remove 4, it will go to 3 now, and now it will visit 7. So that's what it is doing here, 7. And 7 will again have a path to 5, Now again we are finding another path here, right? Again distance is 4, right? Why? 0 to 1, 1 to 3, 3 to 7, and 7 to 5 is distance is 4, and the path we have printed the same path here, right? Now after this path is already done, it will backtrack basically from 5 to 7, 7 to 3, 3 to 1, and 1 to 0. It backtracked until 0, means original point, and then it starts exploring other path like 0 to 6, then 6 to 7, as you can see here, 6, then 7, then 5, right? Again it finds out another path, 0 to 6, 6 to 7, 7 to 5, right here, and its distance traveled is 3 now, right? Only 3, 1, 2, and 3, so it is only 3. Now after that we will just check if in our output variable, this output list, right? um, Let me show you that actually here, right? We will check our output list. If it has some path found basically, then we will just return true here. So it is, that's why it is printing that path exists between source 0 and destination 5, right? So there is a path. Now let us try another example where there is no path. For example, 7 to 2 there is no path, right? So let us try that example. So I'll just make this 7 is the source and 2 is the destination. So now we know that there is no path, right? So let's just execute this. So as you can see, it says that there is no path between source 7 and destination 2, right? Because it cannot go anywhere basically. It does not have a path. Or you can still find out like another example. If you want to find out if now 4 to 1 also there is no path you can do, right? 4 to 1, so we can find out that also quickly. So we'll just check change this source 4 to 1, right? So now it should not be any path there. So as you can see, it says that there is no path between source 4 and destination 1, right? Because there is no path. Now if you put like 3 to 4, there is one path, right? This one, 3 to 4, there is one path. So you will see one path if you put 3 to 4 here. So as you can see, it says that path exists between 3 to 4, and the path is 3 to 4 directly, it is saying basically. So 3 to 4 or 3 to 5 also we can put here, 3 to 5. There will be path for all, from 3 to 5 also, right? So as you can see, there are two paths. 3 to 4 to 5 is one path. 3 to 4 to 5 is one path, and other is 3 to 7 to 5, right? It has listed both the paths here. This one is the one path, this one is another path. Both has a distance 2, right? 1 2 1 2, right? So and it says that path exists between source 3 and destination 5 basically. So as we have seen multiple test cases where we have given multiple points, where source and destination, it is working fine, and it is telling us whether its path exists or not exist in that. So the program itself is not very big actually. It's like just we have created the adjacency list here from the add edges, right? Add edges, we created adjacency list, and after that we are just like using our DFS. This path exists is the DFS function, right? This is recursive function where we start from the source node and then we go and visit its adjacent elements, right? And we will keep visiting until we exhaust all the adjacent elements basically, right? So that's what it does. And whenever we find the destination node, then we will just capture that in our output path here, right? Otherwise we will just call it recursively with the remaining adjacent nodes, correct? So this is, for example, this one is the adjacent node n, right? So we will just pass n node here, and we will just keep increasing distance by 1 here, and we will pass our paths list, which is the path basically that we have seen so far, right? Which we will keep modifying when we are going to next nodes basically, right? And then we will here backtrack. So after the edge is finished, for example 2, then we have to backtrack to 1, right? So that is what the backtrack function does. So it has to remove the lastly seen node from the paths list. So I will be putting this program into the GitHub account, and I will share you the link there. You can check it out, and try to go through the details of the program and run it and create your own graphs, and try to make sure like understand how the DFS works. I already explained you in very detail how the adjacency list is formed, as well as how the DFS is implemented, right? Using it like using recursive program, right? So I think by this time you must have already understood the details of the DFS. So DFS is will go all the way deep until it can, right? And then it backtracks, like again it tries to explore the path all the way deep, as much as it can basically, and then it backtracks. So that is the how the DFS works on graph. So I hope you enjoyed this video and this is helpful for you in your understanding of graph of and how to solve a graph, like finding paths from source to destination using graph DFS algorithm. So please check it out. I have another playlist also for my lead code solutions in my channel, as well as for Java J2E solutions. If you are a Java J2E developer and preparing for interviews, like phone interview or coding interviews, there is a lot of material there with a different programming concepts also, like DFS, BFS, dynamic programming, then different data structures in Java like tree map, hash map, array list, linked list. So lot of examples are explained in Java code, so please check it out. If you find this video helpful, please like and subscribe, because if you subscribe, the video can reach to more people and they can also benefit from this video in their understanding of graph and DFS. So please subscribe, and thanks for watching the video.